Let me move on to another question, Your Excellency. It's both a business question and a governance question. I want to ask, sir, how do you balance being a transactional leader and being a transformational leader? In the sense that in politics mainly, or in governance mainly, sometimes you want to reward people who have worked for you, people who have toiled for you. Sometimes you want to reward them with positions or with appointments. And there are sometimes in some sectors, you want to focus on transformation. You want to focus on how to totally turn things around in that sector. So transactional leadership and transformational leadership, how do you balance both, either in business or in governance? For young leaders coming up, how do you balance transformational leadership and transactional leadership?
Well, in governance politics, everything, in business, you may have a little bit of room to maneuver. You hear about office politics, and things like that. They're not as intense as in governance, but it is safe to say that everything is actually politics. The difference between being transformational and being transactional is really that you want to be transformational as a leader, and you only do a transaction if you don't have any choice. If I have a choice, if I don't have my back, if I don't have my back to the wall, I don't want to do a transaction. I just want to look at, exactly. And one example that I can easily bring up is that when I came in, we looked at, some of the ongoing projects, and it's really not unusual for new governments to start their own projects. Well, sometimes they may say you can negotiate your own deal from the beginning, but we said no. We looked at projects that were ongoing, even some projects that were started from the regime of Governor Lam Adesina in 1999. So we looked at all of that, and we said, look, they spent Oyo State money on this project. It's not their own father's money that was spent. Yeah, and we some of the projects, they've spent the state money, and we have not been able to extract value, for those projects. So we said, look, some that fits into our own agenda, we moved on with the projects, and we were trying to complete those ones without minding the fact that some of the former governors said, well, they were my projects. Well, yeah, we met it at 30% or 40% level of completion. Now we are taking it to the end. So for me, that is transformational, because if we're able to do it successfully, then the chances that for subsequent governments, they will try to extract value for the state for any project without minding who started the project. And I promise a lot of my people that I will still take the glory for those projects when I start cutting the tape, to declare them.
It was commissioned by Seyi Makinde. Yes. Thank you, Your Excellency. You've talked so much about about agriculture, and there's an agri question that someone sent in, saying that with the recent statistics released about a week back, that it is obvious that agribusiness or processing is big business, and Southwest remains the market for most agricultural products. So what is your administration doing to assist existing players, farmers and professors, and how are you encouraging youths in agriculture using innovation like greenhouse, hydroponics, and fodder system for cattle?
Well, before this administration, what we had were farm settlements. Farm settlements, that's really rural. You go to some of those farm settlements,
you find out that they just build basically sheds in there. But I carried out a pilot in my father's village uh, several years back. We decided to put in. I put in a turbine, to generate electricity in there. We also put in. We drill borehole to give them water. We put street lights, and we found out that land, became something else. And then most people that come to the town from that village for things as simple as charging their phones, they stay in the village because now they have electricity, and the output from the farms, were really coming up, and also their general economy, uh, also started booming because the mama that is selling akara, we found out that she would just go and stay under the street lights, and rather than for her to close at 8, she was selling till 11 p.m. So we knew from the results of that experiment that for you to attract young people to the farm, and one other thing that we did was we put a viewing center in there, a viewing center with a DSTV. So in that village, they were able to watch African Magic Yoruba. They were able to watch Premiership and all of that. So most of the youths from that village, they were not coming to town anymore. Some of them went into ice block business, and then they were bringing it to town, sell, and for them to go back to the village and enjoy themselves. So we knew that a way to boost the output from agriculture was to change the concept of those farm settlements. And that is why we are creating farm estates. Farm estate means, you have a little bit of luxury in there. Exactly. You have a way, to keep the people, both young and existing farmers, to keep them in those places. And we're starting with a farm estate at Akufo, very close to Ibadan here, and also at Erua. Once those ones are successful, I should be laying the foundation for one of them, I think in about a week and a half for thereabout. So, and also we didn't have data before now. When you ask people, the first interaction I had with the civil servants, we went for a retreat, a Greek retreat, and the PS Agric told me that, well, Oyo State is the 4th largest producer of cassava in Nigeria. And I said, so what were the policies that we put in place, to put us in that position, and how do we sustain ourselves in that position? And he said, well, we didn't really put any policy in place. The people were just resilient, So we said, well, we have to be deliberate in, our policies, in gathering data, and also when we have a incremental increase in our output, we should be able to see it, calibrate, what we're doing, and the effects on the people. So those are the things that we are we're doing with the farm estates. And just on this COVID-19, we started sharing palliatives. We had to go, drill down to the environment to look for data on the poorest of the poor, because the data we met, we tested the data and found out that 80% of the people listed as the poorest of the poor were just people around the folks that put those lists together. So we said, no, we're not going to do that. We went, into those neighborhoods and started collecting our own data. So I was testing those data by myself, and I called some of the numbers, and some of them were farmers, and they said, well, look, we thank you. You want to give us
food items as palliatives, but we require, seedlings. We require farm inputs. Those are palliatives that you can give to us because we really want to go out and to the farm and work. So I think in your state right now, with agriculture, we're sure that our economy will definitely expand.
All right, Your Excellency. I'm going to ask you just 3 more questions because of time. First of all, the first of the last 3 is that right from time, there has been this sort of rivalry between Ibadan and Lagos. From the time of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, when Ibadan was political headquarters and Lagos was a sort of, there were a lot of tussles. It was a colony by itself. In recent times, also politically in the Southwest, Lagos seemed to be the major state, the political headquarters of the Southwest, as it were, until your emergence. But even now, we see on social media a lot of things flying about, some aides, coming, attacking, and so on and so forth. Perhaps they feel or they see that, or they feel that, the primacy of Lagos is being challenged once again by Ibadan. So I want to ask, does this play on your mind, or how do you consider the politics of the Southwest, and what role do you see yourself playing in that politics of the Southwest?
Well, you see, government will come and go, governors will come and go, but our states will remain. Yes, I would love to attract people from Lagos to Oyo State. Why? If I'm able to offer them good quality of life, here in Ibadan, places within 15 minutes, you really want to do that rather than you staying in traffic for hours. So if I can provide that, why won't I? And then secondly, with the rail line coming from Lagos to Ibadan, the dry port, if you look at the dry port, for instance, if you're coming from the northern part of the country, and you can pick your goods in Ibadan and just turn back, or even if you're coming from the eastern part of the country, from Ijebu-Ode to Lagos, compared to Ijebu-Ode to Ibadan, it's 45 minutes. Ijebu-Ode to Lagos to toll gate will probably be around 45 minutes as well. So you probably save, the traffic inside Lagos. Pick your goods and go back. Yes, and when we are saying we want to attract people from Lagos to Ibadan, we're not talking about people living at Sangota or living at Mowe. We want to attract people, that are the productive sort of people from Lagos to Ibadan. And one way for us to actually do that, which is part of what this administration will deliver, is to expand the runway of the Ibadan airport. Each time I arrive at the airport in Lagos, I meet a lot of people from Ibadan, from the southwestern states. So if somebody is coming from Osogbo, for instance, why does he need to go to Lagos to travel outside of this country? Lagos has its own a big population already. So
yes,
what we're trying to provide is not rivalry, it's just economic common sense. And people have argued that, the nearness of Ibadan to Lagos won't affect things. And I said, look at Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Dubai has Emirates, Abu Dhabi has Etihad, and they both come here. They're just 150 kilometers apart. They both come here to market themselves, and so I don't see the rivalry, as being unhealthy. No, I think it's healthy, and it's to provide alternative to people, for people.
Okay. Well, the second to the last question. For a number of young PDP people who look up to you as a role model, what do you think is the biggest problem of the PDP as a party, and how do you think that this party should be positioned going into 2023?
Well, I think, in the past, from 1999, PDP came into power. We got carried away. We started, we started doing things with impunity and all of that. But this is new PDP, internal democracy, and also purposeful leadership. Consultation. Within the hierarchy, and quite frankly, my father will always say that you have not made any mistake, and you say you're wise. Who's your teacher? So PDP has made its own mistake. We are wiser for it, and we've learned from those mistakes. And so, what I would advise our young folks within the PDP is, support the leadership. And if you see something, please say something. Get yourself involved, in all of these activities, so that their voice also can be heard. And then, and at every level, I can say that PDP is basically reshaping itself.
Okay. So the final question, Your Excellency, it's a question that I like to really listen to, and I like to explain very well. It has to do with my theory or my belief that every governor should operate with a philosophy of government, with a philosophy of governance. Governor Mimiko, former Governor Olusegun Mimiko, he the medical problems that the people of Ondo had, and after seeing all those problems, he decided to focus on women and children as the fulcrum of his administration. And from that idea of focusing on women, he was able to reduce maternal mortality and do so much, build schools for the children. It was centered around women and children. In Jigawa, my father, former Governor Sule Lamido, he believed more in the dignity of the Jigawa person and wanted to give them a sort of dignity, because Jigawa had been carved out of Kano, and Jigawa was regarded as the younger brother of Kano. You had civil servants, working in Jigawa, but they had their houses in Kano. So Kano was like the big brother, and he wanted to turn that around and bring dignity. And I saw it when I visited. One of the people whose houses I visited in Jigawa said he was taking me to his place, and I said, "We are going to your village." He said, "No, that his place is not a village, that it's a city." And when we got there, we saw street lights, we saw well-tarred roads, children were playing on the street. We got there in the night, there was water, there was a borehole with water, and he was telling me, he said, "Demola, is this a village?" I had to say no. He said, "This is not even better than your own town." So that was his own vision. That was his own vision, and he was able to achieve it. With someone like Governor Seriake Dixon, when I spoke to him about this issue of philosophy of governance, he saw Bayelsa as the birthplace of all Ijaws. And so he wanted to make that state a pride to all Ijaws. And so he built things like the Ijaw National Academy. His whole idea was about uplifting the pride of Ijaws. He wanted a state. So when he wanted to build an airport, a lot of people felt it wasn't necessary. But because his own philosophy of governance was, I want to uplift the status of the Ijaw people, it made sense, because having an international airport in a typically Ijaw land, it made sense. So for me, it forms the basis of assessing your government. In other words, something that comes from deep within you. I know that you were a student, during the time of Uncle Bola Ige. I know that you were a student, and that drives your free education policy presently. But I want you to talk basically and extensively about, that's the final question. I want you to talk about your philosophy of governance. What are the life experiences you've been through? What are the things that influence how you think and how you act as governor of your state?
Well, thanks, Demola. You see, the first time I said to a couple of my friends that, look, I really want to run, to be a governor. And one of them said, which of the Rotary districts, are you talking about, because he thought I was going to run for the governor of a Rotary district, because he, look, you're already doing much, as much as possible as far as philanthropy is concerned. You want to touch lives and all of that. And then I said to them, yeah, it's hard to give quite a uh, uh, you give it the opportunity to. So one of what year Seyi Makinde got and I said that to put a for them because uh, fire was bad, because when the fire is got get to check. So I said, let me put uh, uh, a ball for them. It was governor time, and some can teach the equip the people there, and then me, I felt philanthropic work, not trying to take care of the people to also allow uh, opportunities to be done. So, and I'll say that I come with a spoon. My father was a primary teacher who stayed home to become um, uh, become uh, an accountant later in life, a bank. So there are such people all states that we have. That's one. I'm to be checked. Once I was on it from to met Senate PIA. So it's that some clear to us with. I came up and Lagelu Secondary in Ibadan. They struggle to name but like what is no, we wanted to name because it wasn't Chief Lagelu and Lagelu at school, have any out there. Why did so they said because that he to seek permission name struck out of Nigeria by all things paper. I will sign it, uh, uh, the my very friend Village, approached the and said the to mentor the minister or ordered it about 7 hours. Look, we'll come with it, then we can at least the road. I said, promise. So for me, first will be judged by how we be able to try to do people. How people are going to take of poverty. Children, we to be to it. We look about they brain. Many of the younger folks want to without means of food will go to out of the street. So the next year work project is the sector, the education sector, also because to attract people, from the security is one is that people want to that they will on a safe with the judge security. Right? So we put all of us together and point on things, states, and be on the world map, you know, as those factors are concerned, because we will not spare anything to resolve objectives.
Got that loud and clear. Well, thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Governor of your state. Thank you. It's a pleasure having you. I hope that after the COVID situation, I hope that we'll be able to bring you to Lagos to interact with young people and also, learn more from you. So I thank you very much for this opportunity, Governor Makinde.
Well, thank you so much. I look forward to action.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Please give my regards to the First Lady, Her Excellency Seyi Makinde. Please give my regards to her.
Will do.
Thank you. Good night, sir. Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. That was a hectic session. Yeah. I'm sure we'll be able to make the video available by this time tomorrow on YouTube. I'll be posting the YouTube channel on Twitter, on Facebook, and everywhere. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I appreciate every single person who tuned in. Of course, I appreciate the governor who tuned in, and I appreciate everyone who facilitated this this meeting. I'm sure we'll have more engagements, in the days to come. I'm quite sure that we'll have more engagements in the days to come with some of our leaders, on both sides, in whatever party we bring them on behalf of the legacy discussion circle. Thank you guys for tuning in. The video will be made available, and for the parts where the audio was not clear, I hope that we'll be able to rectify that when we post the video on YouTube. But thank you guys, thank you everyone. So I'll see you guys later. I'll see you guys next time.